coming up on Friday, not only because it's our championship, but because it's our first venture into pay-per-view. And I'm jealous of these fighters. I have really positive, strong memories of fighting at the Hulu Theater for a championship. So these days are pretty special, and I hope everyone's acknowledging that and soaking in these moments. It's really, really cool. You do have a responsibility to carry this organization into the pay-per-view era, which is more pressure than I ever had to deal with as a fighter, but I guess that's neither here nor there. We're going to open things up for the media here in a second, but I wanted to start the conversation with our main event. And Kayla, this is being billed as your biggest rivalry in the PFL. It's the third time you fought Larissa Pacheco, but I think it's safe to say, even though you beat her twice, she is a very different fighter on a 5-fight winning streak that includes 5 finishes. And the question with you, whether it's fair or not, is what will happen if Kayla Harrison gets hit hard for the first time in your career? We haven't seen you tested in that manner. So what is the answer to that question? What happens if Kayla Harrison gets hit by the power we've seen from Larissa Pacheco?
I mean, can you call it a rivalry if you've never won a round? I don't know if that's fair. I don't want to put that kind of pressure on Larissa. It's not a rivalry. She has nothing to lose. Just because you don't see me get hit in a fight doesn't mean I don't get hit. I train hard. I train harder than pretty much anyone I know. And I put in the work so that on fight night, it looks easy. So I get hit. I'm not worried about getting hit. I'm going to go out there. I'm going to instill my will one round at a time, 1 minute at a time, one exchange at a time, one breath at a time. And I'm going to break her.
Main event, very excited for that. Our co-main event, 2 rising featherweights who I think are at their very best that we've ever seen them in their career. Bubba Jenkins. We talked about Brendan Loughnane as being a pure striker and a guy that you beat with wrestling. To get to this fight, he negated a powerful wrestler, a guy that you fought in Chris Wade, and showed that his wrestling is no longer a weakness in this game. So if wrestling is no longer the advantage in this fight that it might have been had this fight taken place a couple of years ago, how do you beat Brendan Loughnane?
I'm fighting for $1 million in a world championship, and we've done everything in this camp to be as well-rounded as we possibly can be. This is the biggest stage of mixed martial arts, and I have done an amazing job showing all of my mixed martial arts ability. So I think with 25 minutes on the clock and as smart and athletic and technical as I am, I believe I will be putting on all of my attributes on display 25th.
Brendan, the flip side of that coin, right, is that your striking advantage. Bubba has shown that he is a complete mixed martial artist this season. He's really come on. The Ryoji Kudo fight especially, we saw some fine work from him in the stand-up. So if you don't have the distinct striking advantage now that you might have had in the past, same question for you. How do you impose your will on a man like Bubba Jenkins?
I just truly believe that I'm the better mixed martial artist all around. I've been doing this shit longer, and 25th's my night. That's it.
Another guy who's had a really incredible journey in 2022, Delano Taylor, a newcomer to the league, started, as Pete mentioned, on our Challenger Series, and then was not guaranteed a spot on the regular season roster. Got a late notice fight, and another late notice fight, and then an opponent change or two, and obviously beat one of the legends of the sport in knocking out Rory McDonald to earn his way to this chance. Delano, having had to fight an extra fight over the season format and the Challenger Series just to get here, now the opportunity is in front of you for a championship and $1 million, but you have to get through one of our most experienced guys, someone who's been through this format now his 4th season with the PFL.
Experience is gonna come with me as well on Friday.
Great fights coming up. I'm going to get out of your way. You're the media. You probably have better questions than I do, so I will get out of your way, turn the floor over to our gathered media, and I'll be back in just a few minutes. So please, keep the questions coming, and we'll see you in a little bit.
Kayla, just want to start with you if we could. You're in kind of a unique position here, right? You're going for your third world title, which is incredible, but you've done this twice already, and we know next season you're focusing on something different with super fights. So I guess, what does this fight mean for you?
Oh, I'm excited for Friday night, man. I can't wait. It's been a great camp for me. I feel like I'm in the best physical shape of my life. I feel calm. I feel ready. I feel like a killer. And I know that on the other side of this fight are a lot of good things. I was joking with Sean in the back. He was like, so what? Aren't you going to go crazy if you don't fight 4 times? I was like, you know how like wives make honey-do lists for you? Like honey do this, honey do that. I got one of those for myself. So I'm going to be pretty busy, and I'm looking forward to it, looking forward to spending time with my kids. But the focus is Friday night. I got to get through that and Pacheco, and then it'll be good.
Yeah. In your judo career, I know you'd faced the same opponent like multiple times, right? So
All
I'm just
the time,
curious,
yeah.
like, what's the biggest key in that, right? Because, I mean, on the one side, I guess there's familiarity, but on the other hand, like, you could get complacent and be like, well, I beat her twice, like, I got this. I guess what's the biggest key to remaining successful when you're facing the same opponent multiple times?
I mean, I think for me, it's always been about staying humble and staying hungry. You know, I know that she's young, she's hungry, she's a killer in her own right. She's got nothing to lose, and she's coming to take my head off. And I think about that every time I maybe don't want to train, or I maybe don't want to go for a run, or I maybe want to sleep in. I think about that, you know, and I stay a dog. I stay working harder. I stay grinding because she's coming for me. And if I'm not completely prepared and I make a mistake, she's going to capitalize. So it's my job to be the best version of Kayla Harrison on Friday night.
And last thing for you, Kayla, I mean, obviously, Sean mentioned, you know, the start of pay-per-view. I mean, it's a whole company effort, right? But you're certainly one of the faces of the company. Do you feel like personal responsibility for the success of that? Or, like, does it add anything to you that, like, hey, I got to make this thing work?
I mean, in all honesty, no, just because it's not like I'm in on the board meetings where they say, hey, we're going to make this a pay-per-view. You know, my job is to fight and to win and to go out there and showcase my skills and put on a show in that way. But I don't feel responsible my paycheck's the same, right?
Yep.
Everyone's paycheck's the same on Friday night.
Fair enough. And for Larissa, if I could, Larissa, obviously you've fought Kayla twice before. I'm just curious kind of what you're expecting for her the third time around. Are you expecting to see the same fighter? I know you've prided yourself in the changes you've made since then. Do you think she's the same or she's changed?
Larissa, você já lutou com a Kayla em 2 vezes, essa vai ser a terceira. Como é que você vê essa luta? Assim, você falou que você mudou muito. Você vê mudança no jogo dela também?
Não, assim, eu não vejo muita mudança no jogo dela, mas acredito que a gente vai fazer um grande combate. Ela quer isso tanto quanto eu, ela quer se manter campeã e eu quero me tornar campeã. Então, eu treinei muito para isso e acredito que a gente vai chegar lá e vai dar um show.
I don't see a lot of changes in her game. All I know is she wants this as much as I do. She wants to stay champion. I want to become a champion. All I know is we're going to put on a great show Friday night.
And last thing for me, for Larissa, what would mean more to you? Would it be becoming a champion or would it be being the first person to beat Kayla Harrison?
O que significaria mais para você? Se tornar campeã ou ser a primeira pessoa a ganhar da Kayla?
Acho que as duas coisas, né? Eu quero tanto me tornar campeã quanto eu quero essa revanche. Eu acho que ela já está na vantagem, já ganhou 2 vezes. Acho que agora é a minha vez. Me preparei para isso, então essa é a meta.
I think these two things go hand in hand. It's like a combo. Kayla's, you know, she got the upper hand at this point in time. She's 1-2. I think this is my time. I've worked hard for this one.
My question's for Stevie. You mentioned that about 4 years ago you trained with OAM, and I'm just curious if you can talk to me a little bit about that and what weaknesses you saw in him that maybe he still might have.
Yeah, we trained together. The last time would have been 4 years ago. I went to TriStar a few times, so we've done a little bit of work together. Not too much. I mean, we've rolled together. We've done a couple of sparring sessions. I wouldn't say there's been anything to take from it. Anything that we've done sparring, you would see watching the other person's fights anyway. I mean, you can watch his fights and see what kind of fighter he is, what his strengths are, what his weaknesses are, and then obviously training together, you see that as well. So I wouldn't say we've done too much together, and yeah, like I said, the last time would have been over 4 years ago. Not too much happened. I'm not sure how obviously he feels, but yeah. And that's the fight game, you know. Sometimes you fight people you've trained with, sometimes you have to fight your friends, and when there's $1 million on the line, it doesn't matter who's in front of me, I'm going to try and knock them out.
I don't want to ask OEM the same question. He says he wasn't sure how you felt about your training with him. Do you have any comments?
I actually found some video of us sparring like a couple of weeks ago. And it was interesting because he did some mistake in those videos that we didn't see. No, I'm kidding. I don't have video. No, the same as him. Like, I mean, we trained together, but it was 4 years ago. Who cares? Like, who cares? It's going to be in the cage that everything's going to happen. And like he said, we were friends. And we are not friends this weekend, but we're going to become friends again after, if he's okay with that. But yeah, who cares, to be honest.
And I also wanted to ask, you mentioned that this might be your last season and potentially even your last fight. Does that make you a more dangerous opponent?
Well, for sure, I'm always going 100%, but there's something special about this fight, that's for sure. It's probably the biggest fight of my career, and I see that one as my last fight, but I'm pretty sure next year I'm gonna wake up at some point and say, fuck, my life is useless, and then I'm gonna come back, but probably like 90% of fighters actually. So yeah, let's see what happens.
And I've got one last question for both Bubba and Brendan. On Monday, you guys were at the Empire State Building and you were having fun with each other, joking around. How do you turn that off and want to fight each other?
I've been fighting a long time, since 2008. I fought friends, I fought people I hate, I fought good competitors, bad competitors, you name it, I've been there. I actually was on The Ultimate Fighter and shared a bed, well, not a bed, that was bad. Shared a bunk bed with a guy after 8 weeks, and then we had to fight each other. So that's, you know what I mean, Bubba's a great guy. I'm not going to sit here and like, oh, I hate him and this and that and try and make up some fake rivalry for all you guys, but I will try and punch a hole in his head on Friday night, and he'll do the same to me, and we'll all enjoy watching it.
Love him or like him, I'm definitely going to knock his head off for $1 million. I grew up with Lance Palmer. We've been wrestling in different tournaments in middle school, elementary school, things like that. And for less than $1 million, I tried to knock his ass out. So being that he's an English guy, not a guy I grew up with, not an actual foe, but also someone that's sitting on the other side of the cage for me. I like him. I love my children. So it's him or them, and he got to go. He got to go.
Anik Subramanian, Fightbook MMA. Omari, I had a question for you. After a challenging 2021, you've had a terrific season this year. What changes did you make in your training camp and lifestyle?
Омари, вопрос вам. У вас были небольшие проблемы в 2021 году. Сейчас у вас был очень успешный сезон, все продвигается. Вы что-то изменили в своем подходе, в тренировке? За что вы благодарите свои успехи в этом году?
Да, я к этому бою готовился с большими спарринг-партнерами, потому что он выглядит больше меня. Да, я больше начал тренироваться. К тому проигрышу я просто немного халатно отнесся, наверное, можно так сказать. Я думаю, это все.
I believe possibly in 2021 I didn't feel enough pressure. That took me a little time to warm up. This year I've been having more fights. Specifically coming to this fight with Robert, I was mostly training with heavier partners because it's a little bit different weight advantage for him. So whatever precautions I needed in style and partners, I applied this year, and I think I'm in the best shape right now.
And thank you. Rob, MMA in Oceania has been on the rise in the last 10 years. We have former UFC champions in Israel Adesanya and Robert Whittaker. What would it mean to bring another belt back to the Oceania region?
Yeah, it'd be awesome to be the first Australian to bring back a PFL World Championship. The third ever champion from Australia worldwide. So yeah, it would mean a lot to me.
Hey, Mr. Postman, loving the kicks today. Just wanted to ask you, did you get your cronut yet?
Unfortunately, no, I have not gotten the cronut yet, but it's on the way.
That's okay, man. We're going to have you covered. After fight day, we'll have them for you. We'll make sure that you're covered. And we're fighting for the cronuts. You know, no matter what, each guy's going to get one, but the winner gets the rest. So.
That's what I like to hear. That's what I like to hear.
Don't worry, we'll bring enough for everyone. Don't worry, we'll share.
Okay, let's go.
And then, Sadibu, I wanted to ask, we actually had Coach Nixick on our show recently, and I was curious, was there anything different, being from a striking background, was there anything you've picked up working with a camp that has a little bit more of a wrestling background to use offensively in your game?
Whereas, first and foremost, like you mentioned his kicks, so I need to show mine.
I didn't see yours. Okay, all right.
All right.
Thank you, sir.
I brought it, so I wanted to. All right.
Love it.
Okay. So I came to Vegas in January, one-way ticket from Sweden. I had no idea how long I was gonna stay. The guys took me in and made me feel at home, and I've been growing and I've been improving with these guys, and it's been amazing. For me, just be with like-minded people. Like Kayla said, some days you wake up, you don't feel like training, you don't feel like, but you just see the other guys in the gym pushing, and you just follow the lead, and it's been amazing. And I believe that you guys can show the improvements and the, what do you call it, like the evolution of Sadibu.
Hunter, last year you were very close to get the title, to get the $1 million. What's the biggest lesson you bring to this season?
Znači, prošle godine bio si blizu da osvojiš titulu. Šta si još dodao da ovu godinu osvojiš?
Pa mislim da sam prošle godine bio na neki 56% svojih mogućnosti, jednostavno nije mi išlo. Smatram to neuspjehom. Drugo mjesto, ove godine sam spreman osvojiti i vjerujem u to.
Last year he was at about 50 to 60% of his skills, but this year he's full prepared and ready to take the belt.
Matheus, ano atrás você estava lutando por uma vaga no Contender Series e agora você está a um passo de conquistar $1 milhão. Como se preparar mentalmente para uma virada de mesa tão grande, tão rápida?
Em português ou em inglês?
Fala em português e eu traduzo depois a pergunta.
Tá.
So the question was the same question that was asked for Ante. Clarity for everyone.
Eu acho que tudo acontece na vida de uma maneira que ela tem que acontecer. Eu acho que eu não estava preparado para aquela situação, mas a vida é engraçada. Acho que eu tô aqui onde eu tenho que estar hoje. Estou muito feliz de estar aqui dentro do PFL. Esse é meu primeiro ano como peso pesado e meu primeiro ano sendo finalista. Vou fazer luta por $1 milhão, então acho que isso compensa aquela derrota que eu tive lá. Não era para eu estar lá vencendo aquela luta, era para eu estar aqui dando essa entrevista para vocês hoje.
Everything in life happens for a reason. I look at all my wins and all my losses, and the turbulent 2021 I had as things that drew me and took me to where I am right now. I was not supposed to win those fights, and these things all culminated in me being here right now answering your question.
É uma revanche, você já enfrentou ele. O que muda? Qual o segredo para trazer a vitória diante de um atleta que já te venceu?
This is a rematch. What changes do you make to your game in order to beat a guy who's beaten you before?
Eu confesso que eu estava um pouco vislumbrado com a grandiosidade do PFL. Eu não lutei bem. Fiz algumas mudanças, na verdade, aquela luta que eu perdi pro Ante me fez fazer várias mudanças no meu treino. E eu acho que o resultado condiz com as mudanças que eu fiz. Então, sexta-feira vocês vão ver um Matheus totalmente diferente. Essa é a primeira vez na minha vida que eu só treino. Eu tinha que trabalhar antes, eu tinha que dar aula, fazer minhas coisas. Então essa é a primeira vez na minha vida que eu fiquei 3 meses só treinando, tendo esse cara na minha cabeça todo dia. Então eu vou dar tudo de mim lá.
I've made some critical changes in my game ever since we last fought. Must confess, my fight week here at the PFL for my first fight, I was kind of in awe with everything and with how great this opportunity was to eventually be potentially fighting for $1 million. And my team and I got together after that loss, and we made changes, and you can see the results that came from those changes with my 2 wins that came shortly after. This has been the first time in my entire career as a mixed martial artist that I've been able to solely focus on training. I've not had to teach classes. I've not had to have side gigs or work on other things. I've focused the past 3 months strictly in beating this guy that's sitting right next to me.
Last one for me. Kalen, you were just talking about in judo, it's usual for you fighting the same opponent multiple times. In MMA is not very common. But would you mind to compare how important was for you fighting Mayra Aguiar multiple times and Larissa multiple times to develop your skills in judo and MMA?
Yeah, man, there's always a Brazilian bringing out the best in me, isn't there? Something about you guys. No, for sure. I fought Mayra, I want to say maybe 16 times or something like that in my judo career. And every time, it's funny how sometimes you fight to your level, right? Whatever you're faced with, sometimes you fight to that level. Like if you fight someone maybe with not as good skills as you, sometimes you don't perform as good as you can. But when you have a great opponent, it brings out the best in you. And Mayra always did that for me in judo, and I feel like Larissa does that as well for me in MMA. She is, by all means, she is a very skilled opponent. She's a great fighter. She has more experience than me. She's been doing this since she was much younger than me. She obviously has better striking than me and hits harder than me. She's a black belt. She has excellent submission defense. She's the toughest person I've ever faced. And I'm grateful for that because it gives me the opportunity to dig deep and to figure out a way to win again. So it's Thanksgiving. We had a lot to be grateful for, and I'm grateful for Larissa Pacheco.
Hi, my question is for Brendan Loughnane. This is Chris Trafford from Combat Sports UK. It seems that the UK is entering into another golden era, and you're widely regarded as one of the best UK featherweights in the world, if not featherweights in the world. What would it mean to bring another championship to the Manchester area?
It means absolutely everything to me. I'm a proud Mancunian, and can I just say, it's going to be a very, very good day for England. Yeah, on Friday. It's going to be football and world titles. How about that one?
Very well. And Stevie Ray, you're also looking for the next UK championship and to become the first Scottish champion. You've overcame so much adversity to get to where you are today. What would it mean to be the next and first Scottish champion?
Yeah, it'd be amazing. Like you said, I've overcome a lot of adversities before. Won fights that people doubted me, and here I am today. And I've always believed in myself and knew that I'm capable of being able to do this. And I feel like this has been my destiny, and it was meant to be. And Friday night, I've trained my arse off. I'm in shape. I'm healthy. I'm gonna, fight like there's no tomorrow, and obviously, hopefully, get the win. And I'm proud to represent Scotland and the UK.
What's up, Bubba? Dylan Rush from Fight Club over here. You've been known to come up clutch in the most crucial moments of your career, becoming a national champion with ASU in 2011, getting a first-round finish in the semifinal of these playoffs. Now you're fighting for $1 million and a world championship title. What is about these big moments that helps you thrive and shine under the bright lights?
The lights are bright, but I got a sharp fuse. Been handling this game so long, my thumb's bruised. And that's it.
Thank you. And then lastly, Rob Wilkinson. I was talking to Brandon Royval last night. He told me that like 6 people at Factory X grew mustaches earlier in this year to show support for you. What can you tell me about Coach Mark Montoya and the support system you have over there in Colorado?
Yeah, Mark's an amazing coach, and I've been there for since my first fight, so like 8 months now. Everyone's super friendly there, and I think we're going to have a few people with fake moustaches in the crowd as well.
Okay, thanks for the questions, everybody. And again, thank you very much for being here. We'll be excited to see you on Friday and hopefully for the weigh-ins a little bit tomorrow as well. We're going to bring President of Fighter Operations, Ray Sefo, out to face these fighters off in just a minute. But before that, one more look at the first ever PFL pay-per-view card. 2022 Season 4 Championship, 6 title fights coming up on Friday night.
From every corner of the globe, they've come.
I'm gonna walk the earth.
From Scotland to Sweden, Croatia to Tasmania.
Hey, fight! I'm gonna walk the earth.
12 fighters, each with countless nights dreaming of a night like the one to come.
I'm gonna walk the earth till my life's complete.
Will it be the night for Rob Wilkinson, a Tasmanian fighter looking to make history? Or Omari Akhmedov, looking for his first shot at light heavyweight glory? Will it be the night a former barista takes home $1 million?
Taylor, pull the upset!
Or will the Swedish Denzel continue to take the division by storm?
I walk the earth for you.
Can OAM prove he's the next Canadian to wear the crown? Or will Scotland finally crown their champion? Will the Croatian Ante Dilia capture his heavyweight dreams? Or will Matthias Scheffel get his revenge? For Bubba Jenkins, will this be the night he walks the walk? Or will Brendan Loughnane have the last laugh? And finally, will the reign continue for Kayla Harrison? Or will the third time be the charm for Larissa Pacheco? November 25th, New York City, the biggest night in MMA history. This is the PFL 2022 World Championship, presented by Celsius.
At this time, please welcome the President of Fighter Operations, Mr. Ray Sefo.
We'll start the night of championship bouts in the light heavyweight division. Everybody's favorite, the 205ers. Robert Wilkinson out of Australia, Omari Akhmedov.
American top team, here is Omari Akhmedov. In the red corner, fighting out of Hobart, Tasmania, Robert Wilkinson.
Our 2022 PFL Welterweight World Championship features Sadibou C and Delano Taylor.
In the blue corner, fighting out of Miami, Florida, Delano Taylor. In the red corner, fighting out of Stockholm, Sweden, here is Sadibou C.
The $1 million lightweight championship will be contested between OAM, Olivia Aubin-Mercier, and Stevie Ray.
In the blue corner, fighting out of Kirkcaldy 5, Scotland, here is Stevie Ray. In the red corner, fighting out of Montreal, Quebec, Canada, Olivier Aubin-Mercier.
The heavyweights, Ante Dilia and Mateusz Scheffel.
In the blue corner, fighting out of Curitiba, Brazil, here is Mateusz Scheffel. In the red corner, fighting out of Zagreb, Croatia, Ante Dilia.
At 145 pounds, featherweight world championship between Brendan Loughnane and Bubba Badman Jenkins.
In the blue corner, fighting out of Las Vegas, Nevada, by way of Virginia Beach, Bubba Jenkins. In the red corner, fighting out of Manchester, England, Brendan Loughnane.
And in our main event, a women's lightweight world championship bout, the trilogy, Kayla Harrison and Larissa Pacheco.
In the blue corner, fighting out of Marituba, Brazil, here is Larissa Pacheco. In the red corner, fighting out of Middletown, Ohio, here is a two-time PFL world champion, Kayla Harrison.
The PFL World Championship. Here's our full fight card. 6 title fights, 6 $1 million prizes, and a women's featherweight showcase right smack dab in the middle as Aspen Ladd makes her PFL debut against Julia Budd. Coverage begins on ESPN Plus at 5:30 Eastern Time. ESPN Plus pay-per-view begins Friday at 8 p.m. The first ever PFL pay-per-view card, Professional Fighters League's 2022 World Championship.
In the welterweight.
The press conference is in the books. The weigh-ins are up next. And of course, Friday, incredible action at Hulu Theater at Madison Square Garden.